there's a fine line in trading from being a professional and being a gambler, and you don't want to cross that line. And I've got a playbook that works, right? I told you we have like a 78, we average around 80% win rate over the last 2 years with this specific playbook.
Do you think it's moving off of your support and resistance levels so well because it's manipulated?
I would say, someone's behind the movement there. I felt, hey, if I woke up early, I did this stupid morning routine thing,
Time to
right? And
trade.
yeah, it's time to trade, right? So there was no way I was leaving the desk without putting a trade on that day, right? And you're not a disciplined trader. And I can tell very quickly just by what someone says, what they do off the charts, what their results are looking like on the charts.
Spot on.
It's no surprise, bro.
What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the Day Trading Show. I'm your host, Austin Silver, and I really appreciate you being here. Today, I sit down with Nick Stewart. Nick is a trader based here in Florida, not too far from me. We talk all about his trading gold, his experience there, his live streams that he runs on YouTube, which are very successful. We talk about how Raja Banks influenced his trading. We talk about his most influential trading books. We talk about really everything that has gone into building him into the trader that he is today. You guys are going to love this conversation. Nick is a very down-to-earth and easy to listen to guy. He's just a typical bro, just one of the boys. But before we get into the conversation, TradeZella and I have agreed to a very awesome sponsorship. So because you're a listener of the podcast, we want you using TradeZella to track all of your trades. They've given us a discount code and a special link. I put that in the description to this video wherever you're listening or watching. So if you're not using a trade journal to track your trades and see your stats, TradeZella will take care of all of that for you. Plus, because you're a listener of the podcast, you save some money with your sign up if you use the code and the link down below. So get on TradeZella. Now enjoy this conversation with Nick Stewart. All right, traders, listen up. Before we continue with today's podcast, I have to share with you some important information because a lot of you come to me asking, how can you help me make more money, Austin? What does that process look like? The simple answer is you join the Black Shirt Club, which is our all-inclusive 12-week trading mentorship program, and you work with me every single day. In the Black Shirt Club, we don't just trade together. You get weekly private coaching sessions. You also get a year for free. That's $550 worth of value to TradeZella, to track your trades, to journal properly. So we actually have some data to make the adjustments from. But really, I think the bigger overarching thing you get in the Black Shirt Club is accountability and feedback from traders with more experience than you. Those two things alone are worth thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because think about it, you're learning how to make unlimited income and you're saving yourself tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential losses. Remember, when I started trading, I had no mentorship. I lost almost $50,000 in the first 2 years. If I can save you from losing 50 G's, how much would you pay me? I want you guys to book a call with me. It's probably flying in up here. The link is in the description. Book a call. It's 10 minutes. It's free. If the Black Shirt Club is something that you're interested in, it is a little bit of a time commitment. It's for serious traders, not brand new people, but you get everything included. Like I said, TradeZella, my course is included. I'll even give you a month free of ASFX TV. So book a call if this interests you. Let's hop on and see if you're a good fit. It's not for everybody. I am definitely selective in who I allow into the club, but if I think I can make an impact on you after that welcome call, we'll get rolling, we'll get the 12 weeks popping, and we'll get you making more money. Link is down below. Like I said, maybe it flew in above my head. Tap it, book the call, and I'll speak with you guys soon. Again, thank you for being a listener of the podcast. Let's get back to the video. What's up, traders? Welcome back to the show. Today, I'm sitting down with my brother from another mother. It's Nick Stewart. Nick, welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, Austin, listen, man, it's a good day, bro. It's a good day. I'm happy to be here and appreciate you having me.
Dude, absolutely. So for those of you that don't know, Nick is local to me. We're both in Florida in the Tampa area. So today is the first day. If you can't tell in his voice, the heat has broken. It's beautiful. Ooh. There's no rain, no clouds, right, Nick? It's a beautiful day in Florida today.
What a day, man. Just absolutely perfect. For all my friends up north, just
sucks to suck.
Here today.
Right. Eat a dick. All right, nice. So we're going to talk about a lot today, everybody. Nick has some extensive experience in gold specifically. He has some experience trading live on his YouTube live streams, as maybe some of you guys know him from. But I want to kind of get to know you, Nick, today in a way that maybe is not presented on the internet, since you and I got to hang out off the desk already, which I normally don't get to do with podcast guests. So for us to have already kind of set up a relationship, we already kind of went over some things. I've got some good questions for you today to kind of poke at some things that I think will bring value to our listeners. So listeners, make sure you're subscribed. I'm sure this will not be the last time Nick is on the podcast. We're even talking about doing maybe a meetup here in the Florida, Tampa
Oh
area
yeah.
this winter, right, Nick? So we'll
Oh
talk
yeah.
about that later in the podcast. But before we get into that, let's talk first, Nick, about how you got into trading. If you could give us an idea of when did you get introduced and what was the first course or first bit of information that you consumed that kind of got you hooked?
Yeah, for sure. So the way I really got introduced to trading is I was in a network marketing business for years, and that was something I was doing. I was really gun ho, very committed, very dedicated to, and grinded it for a long time, and just couldn't quite get the traction that I thought I should be getting, right? And the
It's a tough
lifestyle
business,
was
bro.
there.
That business is
It,
tough.
oh yeah, oh yeah. It's tough. It's a grind, but man, what was there value in that time spent? But I seen the vision. In there, I developed the vision. I developed the idea of the lifestyle that I wanted to live. So I knew I was gonna get it either way. Whether it was in that path or if it was another path. And what happened was I started seeing some buddies that were trading, and they started to post some things online, and I'm like, "Oh, what is this?" I like it. And obviously in network marketing you have to deal with people all the time, right? So it's all about building teams and doing all that good stuff, which is great. But this was an opportunity where it was like a single man sport, right? Where it wasn't a team thing. And I knew that I was willing to put in the work for my dreams and goals. I just needed a track to run on. So once I seen trading, I understood that, hey, if I can get this thing right between me and the markets, then just maybe I can crack the code and I can start to live that life that I'm dreaming of. Right. And I knew I didn't have to deal with any people. I knew if I was willing to put in the work, which I was, that I would be able to get to where I wanted to be. So that's how trading came about for me, man. Just seeing it
Why though?
online
Can
and
we
then
I want to dive on that just for a second. It
mhm,
is interesting you bring that up. Why
yeah.
did you have so much confidence in yourself that you were willing to say, I don't want to work with other people anymore. I want to work on my own? Where did that inspiration come from?
Yeah, so crazy that you asked that, because remember, this company and this business I was extremely dedicated to. Anyone that knows me knows that how dedicated I was. And it got to a point where I would be in one of our meetings and sometimes the actual speaker in the meeting, and I was daydreaming about trading. And I'm thinking, whoa, like, hold on, like this, any other time before that, there was nowhere else in the world I'd rather be than in that meeting at that time in that place with those people. And then all of a sudden, I started thinking about trading while I'm in there. I don't want to be here. I want to go see what the guys are doing in the markets. And that really led me on a path that I felt like I was being called to, to step upon that journey. So I had full confidence in it. Again, I was working and not getting that traction. So I knew I was willing to put in that work, but I just needed a good vehicle that would allow me to present the hustle and the dedication that I was willing to put in and
I
see a
think
return on it.
that's the point I was looking for, because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people listening can relate to that. Like they are doing a job in sales or in even
Yep.
network marketing, some people, I'm sure, and they're
Yep.
hustling, they're grinding, and they maybe haven't done what you said you did, which is take that motivation and transfer it into a business where you eat
Yeah.
what you kill, where you are not reliant
100%.
upon a firm or someone else to feed you. You
Mhm.
go out and make your own nut. So I think that's the point
Yep.
I wanted to hit. You nailed it. So, okay,
Yeah.
great introduction. I want to speed up the timeline a little bit. Get
Yeah.
to the part here. When did you place your first trade on gold?
Oh, first trade placed on gold was about a little over 3 years ago.
Okay.
So
And you
first
remember
trade
what I
ever
told you when I
placed.
met you, right? About gold. Do you remember what I told you about gold traders?
Yeah, I remember. But you don't trade gold.
Correct. But what did I tell you? Tell everybody.
Wait, I don't. Which part of you? I thought you told
I'm
me you
talking
don't
about the
trade
part
gold.
when I told you, yeah, I don't trade gold because I've always had a hard time with it. And you were the only person who I see consistently trade gold profitably.
Oh yeah,
You,
people jump
I
back and
gave you
forth
the,
on gold. Yeah,
you don't even remember, bro. I gave you the full flowers on it. Come on, now it's
I
on the
remember
podcast,
now.
so
I
now you know what
remember.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it is a true statement. Guys,
Oh
even in
yeah.
my program, have struggled to trade the strategies that I teach on gold.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to
Yeah.
you about that a little bit in detail today.
Sure.
So you placed the first trade 3 years ago.
On gold. Yep.
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 And do you remember
Yeah.
like what at that time you were learning from, or who you were learning, who were you trading with that inspires you to trade gold? Like why gold over a Forex pair?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was trading just regular forex pairs for quite some time. I was doing a lot of London session and trading the pound, obviously pound yen, which I still trade today, and a bunch of other pound pairs. And I really started to want to shift into the New York session. And I was always hearing about gold. So shout out to Raja Banks because he's the one that really put me onto gold. So I was looking for a place to learn, and I fell upon this guy's stream, and this guy was just talking, and it was just he was a good talker, but he was also making a lot of good points,
Yeah.
and he would talk and teach, and he really knew how to trade gold. So man, I don't know what it was, but for some reason it just attracted me to that, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get good at gold because
Come on, what
I
was
heard
it?
a
The
lot.
volatility, maybe, bro? The
I think
how much
so.
it was
And
moving.
yeah, and the fact, kind of like you said, where a lot of people jump ship on gold. They come in, they try it, they move out, and I thought, hey, what if I was the best at trading gold? Like, what if I learned this thing and I only focused on gold during the New York session, right? Can I find some consistency in one pair, one time a day, be able to pull the money that I need out of the markets and be done with it? So that's what really attracted me to gold was the volatility, and the fact that I can get in and out, and also the fact that no one's really been able to crack the code and stick with it long enough to really enjoy the benefits of gold.
So patience is one of the things, and consistency is what you give credit to how you've been able to make money trading gold. Those two things.
Oh, 100. Yeah, you have to be patient with gold. Have to be disciplined. Yep.
Is it an asset? I want to go to Rasha Banks in a second because you're the first person to give him a shout out on my podcast, and
Oh, nice.
he and I have a very interesting relationship. I'll tell you the story if you want. I've never
Oh,
shared
is
it on the
that
podcast.
right?
Yeah, but we
Oh,
could talk about that.
oh,
But
cool, cool.
talk
Yeah.
to me first about the appeal that your strategy or the way you were trading. What appealed about that
Mhm.
specifically when it came to gold? Like, were you winning way more trades trading gold than you were forex pairs because of the
Mhm.
strategy you were trading? Like, what was it that made you, okay, I don't just like the volatility, now I'm making money
Yeah.
on it? What was the separator there? Do you have any
Yeah.
idea?
Good. Yeah. Good question. So once I started dedicating myself to the New York session, I started to, and only gold. Yes, I looked at pound yen, but mainly gold. 85% of my trades are taken on gold today. And I started watching it and I started learning about it and I started figuring out the little nuances within it. What time volume comes in, what it likes to do when it's trending, right? A lot of time it likes to come down, create a nice support on the 30-minute time frame and move up and test that previous resistance during times of volume. So I started figuring these things out. Hey, I don't really need to be on the charts and unless it's NY open, right? 8:15, you have comic the commodity exchange open, which brings volume into gold, and then it'll kind of settle down for the new 4 hour. And once the 4 hour opens up, you have the stock exchange that opens up at 9:30, and more volume dump into like 10:30. So we found this flow. Now it switches up quarter by quarter. That's one thing we've learned, but we found this flow that we were able to kind of in a way get in this flow state with gold and really really dialed in on the New York session and how it likes to move, and it connected perfectly with our strategy because we trade with ranges. So we use pure price action and candlesticks, trading breakouts of ranges or retest of support and resistances, and gold just moves flawlessly when it comes to retesting those supports and resistances. So it works out really well.
Do you think it's moving off of your support and resistance levels so well because it's manipulated?
I guess that one's
Put
always
the
up in the
tinfoil
air.
hat on. Tell me your, come
Yeah,
on, give me
yeah,
the, what do
yeah.
you think?
Most
Do
like,
you,
I
like,
mean,
why do you think that happens? You know what I'm saying?
yes, I think that things are said, moves are made, in the economy to shift the price of gold to where, the rulers or the guys that be want it to go and back and forth, but it's got some clean price action. At least they don't mess with that too much. But yeah, I would say, someone's behind the movement there.
Well, fundamentally, we could have a whole probably 2 hour conversation about the price of gold. It's 1920 something today.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
is it 1900 yet we had 12% inflation a year ago?
Yeah.
This thing should be
Oh yeah.
$3,000 an ounce. I think anyone
Yes,
would
I
agree
agree.
with that. So
Yep.
it's such a weird market, in my opinion, to look at from the outside. But just like
Yeah.
many other markets, like Bitcoin, you could even argue like penny
Yeah.
stocks. You don't need to
Hmm.
know all about the market. You don't need to know who's manipulating or moving it to get in and still make money on it. You know, how many
For
times do we
sure.
see a penny stock get pumped by a press release? And you can still
Yep.
see guys like I had Roland Wolf on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he's still going to make money on it. Doesn't matter if the press release is true or false or it's manipulated or not. There's
Yeah.
still money to be made there, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Why GJ? If we could just say that too as well. Why is that the only second pair that you mentioned?
Yeah, another good question, but another simple answer. It's just that
You're
was
a
the
simple
first
guy,
pair
bro. I like the
yeah, I'm
simple
a
answers.
very, very simple guy. That was the first pair I ever started trading. And at that time in 2019, man, GJ was like the most volatile pair in the Forex lineup, right? So another thing about me is just like I like the challenge. I wanna, that's the highest volatility pair. That's the one I want to learn. That's the one I want to grow with and use to, extract money from the market. So really no, crazy reason why, just happened to start with that one and, chip the rest of them off along the way and just hung tight with pound yen.
I love it. Great answer.
Yeah.
All
And
right. So do you
also
want to hit?
because my
Yeah.
mentor Raja trades it and I've watched him over and over and over again. So
Do you have a relationship with him? Like, do you know him or do you just know him through the videos?
yeah, so I've been through market fluidity. I've been through all of his stuff, plugged into his live streams. We'll talk here and there. He comes visits my live streams from time to time. So I think we're beginning to start something, and
Nice.
hey, I always learned, my mentor always told me, look at people, check the fruit on the tree. If they got what you want in that specific area, then shut up and listen. And
All
that's
right.
one thing I've been able to do, man.
Well, let's talk about him then specifically. Do you know about the trader's domain thing? We kind of talked about this, I feel like, when we met up for cigars, right?
Yes. Yes,
So
yes.
give me your opinion on that before I insert my opinion as I tend to do.
So that I to be honest, I really don't have much of an opinion. I mean, I see what happened. I actually had an account as well. But I just see currently right now there's no opportunity or no option to withdraw funds. That seems to be the reality of it. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes or exactly what the details are, but I'm just sitting and waiting like it sounds like a lot of people are. Luckily, I didn't have too much in that account, but pretty shocking, I'll tell you that. Pretty shocking.
Is it though? Come on, bro. Take away the fact that we're on a podcast that'll be on the internet. We're sitting smoking cigars. Is it that shocking that people
Bro,
lie and
it
do stupid things and take money from? No, it can't be shocking, bro. Because there's been scams in the past, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. When
So
you bring it up, when you talk about it like that, yes.
yeah.
But to see like a big name in the industry and a face on that kind of go down, that was a bit like, oh wow, okay. And then to prove your point, right? Anybody can do something like that.
Oh, and I mean, they took money from people who were even more popular on the internet than you and me, like Pace Morby and some of these other guys. Like
Oh
they lost millions of dollars with that whole scam as well with Uncle Ted. What's
yeah.
Uncle Ted doing now? Like, is he even on the internet? Do you know?
No idea, man. No clue whatsoever.
Ted
Last time
Safranco.
I
What a
think I
fucking
seen
name,
him,
bro.
it was last time I think I seen anything with Ted was just on a maybe an Instagram live and just looking at a couple quarters on the desk while he answered questions.
You know, it's these guys, bro, like him and ICT. They give me such a bad vibe, bro, because like trading is such a great business, in my opinion. It can be such a rewarding career. And
Yeah.
then there's just guys that have these personalities, these characteristics within them that they they bring the same thing you can bring to any other industry. They bring it into our industry, which of course, like you can't stop it. This is a free market, but it's like the ICT story about getting kidnapped or Raja moving to Dubai to disassociate from the whole scam. Like there're just certain moves where then it's like, I'm never going to, no disrespect if this is disrespectful or not, but I would never interview Raja for this podcast because like I told you when we met, he fucked with me years ago, bro. And here I still am doing my thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what's funny is, bro, I do believe he probably will hear this podcast. He probably will be hearing this because he comments on my Twitter stuff all the time. In
Oh
fact,
yeah, Raja's very active on Twitter.
but
Very
he
active.
doesn't like anybody. He hates everybody. And everybody, I think, hates him, to be honest. Everyone that I would consider like a legit trader, like some of the guys who run these new prop firms and some of the guys
Yeah.
who have verified track records, they all say when you don't have a camera on, I'll say it with the camera on because I'm not afraid of
Right.
Raja Banks. They all say he's a
Right.
scammer, but they won't
Yeah,
admit
yeah.
it when I interview them. To me, he already gave off so many of the character. I mean, like, bro, I haven't fled the country. He fled where he lives, where his family is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many red flags where and also again, where you just troll people all the time, you're going to bring that energy to you. You know what I'm saying? Where I think you go about building your brand differently. I'm in the same lane as you, where we don't beef with people to create attention.
Yeah.
And that's what he does.
Yeah.
He, like I was going to say, he tweeted at me because I tweeted about the Israel and Hamas thing because I'm Jewish. And oh, bro, that tweet went crazy. Like, people were ripping me up on Twitter, which is crazy because I didn't realize how many Muslim followers I had on Twitter. And he tweets back at me this whole thing, bro, paragraphs about this thing. And in the paragraphs, he called me a C-grade influencer. And I had the best reply. I was going to reply and say, like, I may be a C-grade influencer, but at least I'm not a grade A scammer verified by CoffeeZilla or something like that. And I just didn't even tweet it, bro, because I didn't want to. Oh my God, all his little minion followers would have come after me. And like, it would have been, it's just this whole other side of our industry that I don't even really want to talk about beyond this on the podcast because I hate giving it attention. But it's like the drama. It's like the Real Housewives of trading. It would be like Raja Banks, Ted Safranco. You'd have ICT in there. You know what I'm saying? We could come up with a couple other like guru people that we could put and call them the real homeboys of trading or whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying?
The homeboys.
Yeah. So, while we can say whatever we want to say and have opinions about people, it is always good to give people credit. And he helped you become the trader that you are. And I would say there are a lot of other people who would give Raja credit as well to helping them make money trading. But what was one of the separating factors, do you think, once you kind of moved out and away from him, that you developed on your own to make you who you are? Do you have anything that like happened? Like, what evolution did you go through after that course? And how did that lead maybe as you evolved to starting live streaming and basically becoming his competition? Because that's what you did by running a live stream. Like, you know, you're taking attention away from him in a way, right? What's up, traders? A quick break from today's podcast to thank our sponsor, TradeZella. If you don't know who TradeZella is, they are the #1 trade tracking software in the world. And I'm very grateful to be partnered with them and to have them as our sponsor because it actually has made a difference in my trading and in our mentorship students who get access to TradeZella. So now as a listener of the podcast, you guys can save 10% on your monthly or your yearly membership with them if you just use the link in the discount code down below. So thank you to Umar and the team for being our sponsor. Again, super grateful there. And I think everyone listening, if you haven't tried out this tracking software, please just go give it a try for a month. You'll never leave. The way that it presents the data, the ease of use, and the actual improvements you can make from studying your own data makes it a no-brainer. It's affordable. It'll make you more money. What are you waiting for? Link is in the description. Save 10% if you use the code down below. Now let's get back to the video.
Yeah. So pretty much so he was very consistent on the live streams for a long time. And I think I caught the tail end of it because I believe he was doing them from like 2016 or something. So I started plugging in around like 2019, 2020, 21. And during that time, you know, he was transitioning and moving. And so
like transgender? Raja's a transgender?
So I literally couldn't learn from him anymore, right? Outside of the course and everything. But I was used to having, you know, hearing him live and having him go through current price action and everything like that. But one thing I did do was I learned, right? So I understood what he understood at that point for the most part. And, you know, shout out to him because I was able to just duplicate what I seen him do. And he had a proven track record. Everything, you know, worked out well in terms of like price action. And that's when I started branching out on my own. And I was still failing as I was learning the nuances to the strategy, right? Sometimes, you know, everything we do is based off of price action, and we look to trade candles, right? Just not so much trending markets, but specific candles at specific times. And I had to learn the little nuances, you know, what a setup was, what an entry was, and how they, you know, correlated and how they both needed to be together, and it couldn't be one without the other. And so I started learning by failing. And at that time, there was another guy running a live stream. His name is Don, and shout out to Don too, because he helped me kind of refine it and organize it and put it all together where it made sense, and it became a playbook, right? He was the guy, you know, who was really talking about the playbook and playbook this, and, you know, trust in your playbook. And man, that just seemed to make sense to me. So spent some time on his stream and took a little bit from Don, took a little bit from Raja, mixed it up in my own little, you know, concoction here, and just started to run with it on my own. And, once I had really good success, I was doing this for a while and, ended up eventually moving out to Tampa. And then once I moved out to Tampa, that's when I said, I think this is an opportunity now. I've been seeing a lot of good results. I think I can go and start teaching people. So that's kind of how I shaped up my strategy and then eventually led to, starting the live streams and stuff.
Love that. I think where
Yeah.
the audience would want me to take that point would probably be, can you describe the candles a little bit to us? Can we talk about the strategy itself? Like, just if you could put it to words, what does that look like? What does it mean to trade certain type of candles? Because that's a little different than what I think my audience is used to hearing.
For sure. Yeah, I think we do trade a bit on the more unique side. Yeah, we just trade pure price action on these candlesticks. So what'll happen a lot of times is my whole idea on the day is based off of the daily candle, right? If I'm looking at the previous daily candle and let's say it's closed bearish and let's say it's formed a resistance, right? Then I'm going to be bearish on that day. So my job is
on
to
the next day.
Yeah, well, yes. So on the following day. So
on the following
now
day.
we're in that day, right? And the previous candle's bearish. So I come to the charts every morning, same time, top-down analysis, and we see that the previous daily candle closed bearish. So we're going to be looking for sells today. Mainly, we're still open for buys, and here's how we do it. So what I want to do is I want to go down to the 4-hour. I want to see did the 4-hour move down in London? Is it pulling back, to continue down in New York? If it's moved down a bunch, I'm obviously going to sit there, wait a couple 30-minute candles, wait for some sort of resistance, wait for the volume to come in for NY open, and then continue down in that trend. Now, when price does move down, right, during London, it's at some point going to create a support, let's say on the 30-minute time frame. And then it's going to start climbing itself back up. So most times I won't touch those buys, right? I'll just let those candles form. I'll let them print. And then what I'll do is I'll wait for a candle to print in my direction, right? If I'm looking for sells that day, once I see that resistance formed and it comes during a time where there's volume, right? And then that's my opportunity to get into the market for price to move back down to retest that support that it made before the retracement. Anything after that, I'll leave a runner. But at that support, what I want to do, and again, when you're trading volume and you're hunting volume, that support will typically get tapped in one 30-minute candle, right?
What are you doing to read the volume there?
Well, I know when the open is, right? I know the NY.
So it's based on time and when the markets are opening, not based on an indicator.
No indicators at all, just straight up time. I know when the markets are opening. I know when the volume comes in at this point, because again, 3 years, every day, looking at gold, understanding these things. And that's it, man. I look to get my 15, 20 pips, maybe 25, and I'm good. I'm done for the day. I'll close partials 80%. I'll put my stops at break even. Let the runner turn into an intraday trade if it can, and if not, break even. That's totally fine. And that's typically, my trade of the day.
I love that. Very concise. What time will you finish trading?
Usually I'll stop looking at the markets around 11 a.m. So right around London close is usually when I'm going to get out.
What do you think your win rate is? Do you know what the win rate on these trades is?
Yeah. So currently today, we actually brought that up on the live stream. We are 78% win rate currently right now.
And you're taking profits at, you were saying in the way that you described, it sounds like 1R, 2R at most.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 1R, I'm straight. Two, sometimes it all depends. So we look for clean traffic in the market. So let's say gold is consolidating a bit and we're waiting for a breakout of that consolidation and there's clean range to the left-hand side. Well, I'm looking to target that clean range. So
of course,
if there's a 70 pip range, I'm going to try and hold that thing for 30, 35 pips, right? I'm going to look left though and do it logically. I'm not just going to do it emotionally.
Randomly,
I want 35 pips. No, it's not going to go down that way. There's going to be, an advantage point on the chart and I'm going to find it. And that whole trade is being planned out before it's ever taken. So I know, hey, the range is 70. I'm closing 85% here at 35. The rest could be a runner. But you know what? Some days that same range will be 40 pips and I'm closing 15, 18 pips. So it all depends on the day. It all depends on the market. The market gives me the orders and I just follow them.
That's the quote so far from the episode. What do you think
Yeah,
when
there
you
you go. Yeah.
when you take that 1R trade? Are you locking your stop at even too, so you can't go negative, or do you leave the stop at original position when you take profits?
Yeah, most of the time I'll lock the stop. Yeah, I'll put it
Yeah,
to break even, and
that's
then
why your win
sometimes
rate is high, bro.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And a lot of
same with
times
me.
at that advantage point that we're talking about, man, we'll close partials, rejection, back up, stops are at break even, would have got stopped out or something, you know? So yeah, at those advantage points, I always like to go break even and take some profits.
So now these philosophies that you kind of have been talking about, the aggressive profit taking, trading in a
Mhm.
specific time of day, looking for volume to be a catalyst to
Yeah,
amplify the move. Those are principles that I'm sure Raja and other people like Don were
yeah,
pushing. But you
yep.
mentioned to me today you just finished reading a new trading book. So can you talk about
Mhm.
any other influences that have shaped your principles when it comes to being a trader, other than maybe this new book? And I know you mentioned trading in
Absolutely.
the zone.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So shout out to you, bro, because
Yeah.
your stream or not, no, I'm not sorry, your YouTube, right? A lot of your interviews have really pushed me ahead. Like I'm talking about interviews back from like 2019,
Thanks,
right? When I
bro.
was a struggling trader and I would hear you on with James, you know, shout out to James, my buddy
Shout
James
out to
there.
Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce. Yep, yep, Brucey. And you know, I would just hear you were a little bit of a different swag, you know, and you were
I got that
more
Jewish homeless looking man swag.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly. And you were like a different style, you know what I mean? And I like that because I like that you had a lot of guys that really traded in the pit, you know what I mean? Like really were doing this at a firm and stuff. And what that did was that really taught me professionalism in the market. So your interviews and podcasts, and it's funny because now we're here, right? But your interviews
Hey,
and
but that means I'm
podcasts
doing a good job, bro,
early,
because that means you've been
yeah,
building yourself up to gain that kind of attention, which then it says, hey, let's get him on the podcast. You know, so it's also
for sure.
credit to
Yeah.
you. But I
Yeah,
appreciate the
big
flowers.
W.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that
W, yeah, W all around.
all around.
But yeah, but the forex mindset. So my buddy Tyler, shout out to Van Trading, he put me on with the forex mindset, and he was a really good coach as well. Someone that I could relate to, normal guy, wasn't super big into social media, and he would just help me along the way, you know. And I would have these questions, and you know, he was much more advanced in his trading than me, and doing really well, and you know, he knew the perfect book for me, so he recommended the forex mindset, and you know, that one just really exposed all my weaknesses at the end of the day. I mean, most traders go through the same exact thing. My story is no different, you know, struggled early on. So those books, a lot of podcasts, yours, you know, being one of them. And then obviously Raja and Don with the live streams just kept me on track day in and day out. And one thing before we end that is when I would watch your podcast and I would hear about the professionalism, I would play tricks in my own mind, right? So what I would do is I would get dressed up every morning, come to the desk, and act as if Raja or Don was my senior trader. And I played this whole game in my mind that it was COVID and blah blah blah. And no one went into the office and blah blah blah. And we were assigned these certain senior traders to work under. And bro, I took it serious. I took it serious. I didn't say much, but I was in the background, really, really trying to improve the game, taking notes, and you know, it paid off.
What's your family think about the trading? That was something we really didn't talk about. What's your girl think? Like, what are you telling your kids? Are you talking to them about it already?
Yeah, my wife is my number one supporter, bro. She just been there with me the whole journey. You know, ever since I jumped on this entrepreneurship journey in my early 20s, I think I was always entrepreneurial minded, but ever since we really got down to business, she's been by my side the entire time, supports everything I do, and was literally willing to sacrifice her dreams to see me rise, right? And to she believed in me, and that's all I really needed, you know, at the end of the day. But she loves it, you know, she gets an earful. We always talk trading, and my brothers live down here now, so we're always here chatting, and it's always centered around, you know, the markets and what gold's doing and all this stuff. So she loves it. You know, I don't think she would you know, step out of the room. She loves the conversations, and she's just awesome. My kids, you know, they're still young, so they just see daddy home all the time, and I just, you
They
know, I
ain't
think that they're
complaining.
just happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yep,
What about
yep.
long-term investing? Do you do, because you trade gold actively, are you
Mhm.
buying gold long term, buy and hold, whether it's being stored at your house or not, whatever? Like, are you doing stuff like that or no, not as much?
Not as much. I'm gonna start doing that more now. Especially like with everything going on and stuff. I just it's good to have those assets there, but had some crypto for some time. I got rid of it, probably perfect timing, back in like 2021 or whatever it was. And
Yep.
just kind of secured a little stack there, and that was about it. Other than that, just strictly day trading, I haven't really put any long-term investments in place just yet.
And I think that's typically how it goes for guys around our age. You start doing well, start realizing, okay, I got to
Yeah.
start saving for the future, start doing some of this more long-term investing stuff because
Yeah.
like, I mean, you mentioned the podcast already. Let's talk for a second about one of the recent guests who worked in the pit, Crudelli. I don't know if you remember when I asked him on the podcast recently, I said, what's the one thing you could go back and like redo if you had to redo anything? Do you remember what he said or no?
I don't. What did he say?
He said, if he could go back in time, he would want to make it so that he set himself up for when he's older to have more businesses and assets and investments pay him in his older years, where he's still not at retirement age. He's still not in his, I don't even think he's in his 50s. I think he's like later 40s. I could be wrong. But like
he looks pretty young.
Yeah, he looks young. I think like he now is saying like, if I would have put more money, even in a dividend portfolio of stocks that just pay a small dividend and just built a bigger position in that, he would have more income coming in now, where he admits, and this is a guy who's been trading every day for 40 years. He's like, some days I wake up and I just don't want to do that. Like to trade, he means. He just doesn't want to trade.
Yeah.
Like even today, bro, like I told you, I had a golf lesson at 10:30 and then I was out at the beach. Our friends have a house down at the water. We were hanging out at their pool. So there's certain days where I don't want to trade. You asked me, did you trade today? I said, no, I didn't do anything. And I said, how about you? You said, no, nothing, just choppy scratch. So there's going to be choppy days where it's like, I don't want to, but to have those businesses or have those investments that still pay you at that time, that's the key. So it's good that like, I mean, even for guys like you and me, I think if you're under 40, to be honest, and you have that realization, it's still good timing. If you get to 40 and you haven't done any real investing for your retirement yet, it's getting late. It's getting late.
Better hit the pedal, buddy. Hit the pedal.
Better hit the pedal, buddy. Exactly. What about in-person events, bro? We should talk about this before we forget, because I do my seminar in London. I've got that coming up.
Yeah, that's right. You got that coming up. Yep.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. It's 2 months away. Not even now.
That's coming up close now. Yeah.
Close,
when are you doing
bro.
that in
December 1st
December?
in London?
December.
Yep. First Friday of December is normally when we do it in London.
Excited about that?
Oh, I love it, bro. I appreciate you asking. Cause like, bro, how often do you get 20, 30 other people together? Not only do we kind of trade the same way, but we have similar belief systems. They don't come to my seminar if they are like a super Joe Biden liberal, bro. No one's paying money to come hear me talk because they think I like Joe Biden. They're coming because we have similar beliefs. Sure. We're about our money. We're about our success. Like we're about the same kind of things. Definitely. I think that is like the best part of it. Yeah, the trading information is great. Yeah, the knowledge is amazing, but it's like the networking and then going out after having beer with everybody and it's almost as valuable.
Like-minded people, man. I always tell people association is everything, man. Like you got to be really careful who you hang out with, and
bro, you want to hear something crazy?
Right? Like, go ahead.
I just Grant Cardone.
Yeah. Yep.
I just got invited to his brother's house tomorrow night, Thursday night. 2 nights from now, for a party at his mansion, a casino night party at Gary Cardone's house.
Casino night.
Yeah, bro.
Gary Cardone.
All because, and Gary's not as well known as Grant, but it's his twin brother. It looks just like him.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a twin. Yep.
He lives down here in St. Pete, bro, right in Tierra Verde, where I used to get my boat from.
No way. Oh,
crazy.
Cool.
And I just met this guy. My wife is friends with his wife. So me and Greg are now connecting. And Greg invites me to this party. He's like, bro, there's going to be crypto guys. Lux Algo. Are you familiar with Lux Algo? They have indicators on TradingView. They have free ones and paid ones. They're just they built ICT indicators. They built SMC, smart money concept indicators, and then they sell them. He's working with them. So that guy's going to be at this party. So it's all about who you know,
nice.
bro.
Yeah,
I don't have any credentials to be there other than my successes in my business. Like I don't have a degree or I didn't go to Penn and join the good old boys club at Penn. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever at Wharton. So like it's all about who you know. Like you just said, it's the connections. And now look, I'm going to this party. Who knows what? I'm sure I'm going to get some podcast guests from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and who knows who you meet? Who knows what long-term investments you come across? Right, being that you're already looking for that, it's networking is huge, man. Networking, well,
especially too, like with the funding company stuff, and this is probably where we can transition. My segues are good today. The funding company thing has become a super hot topic, as you know, over the last couple of years. And like for me, bro, I'm nervous for when regulation comes, so I want to be ahead of it. I want to be ready. Believe it or not, Top Step.
Yeah.
Apparently
futures,
the guy
right?
the guy that runs Top Step apparently lives here in St. Pete, bro.
Oh wow, no way.
Yes.
In
so
St. Pete.
Insane Pete. Same with Kathy Woods from ARC. There's a lot of money here, bro. More than I think we realize sometimes. And it keeps coming here. So like all these people are very close. They're very close to me.
Wow.
So it's about, I think, keeping in proximity with those people and keeping in contact. But now with the funding company thing, futures, I can meet this guy at this party this weekend and I could build him conversation. Top Step is going to be popping, bro. I really think that
a lot of people are moving to futures.
A lot of people are going to futures. Have you thought about it? Because I think does gold have a futures market? I think it does, right?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, my buddy, my friend Tyler that I was telling you about, he's big into futures. So he made a decision right away. Once all this started going down, boom,
he bounced
just right over to futures. He had already been trading it, you know, here and there, I think. And yeah, just quick transition. So
see, I'm wondering if I need to be thinking about the same thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it as well. You know, one of my big things was the slippage, right? You know, because I just described to you a little bit about how I trade, and the entry that I want is the entry that I want, right? I don't for my style, I can't afford the 4 or 5 pip slippage. You know, that takes off
screw it all up.
a quarter of my trade, right? So yes, definitely thinking about it a lot. And yeah, everything seems the same. I'm actually working with somebody right now who she just strictly trades on the futures market, and there's really no difference at all.
Other than like how you calculate position size.
That's it. Little stuff. Yeah, little stuff.
So that's why, okay, so give me your honest opinion. Am I stupid for not just jumping ship like Tyler and going right now when I think it's going to need to happen? Because I look at it the same way you do. I'm like, it looks so similar. I could figure it out in a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say you were stupid because, you know, there's still companies out there who
that are paying
out, you know, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And you know, still operating, still rolling. You know, obviously we've got our eyes opened a little bit onto, you know, what's actually happening behind the curtain. As long as the payouts are there, I'm straight. But the one thing I can't deal with is the craziness within the brokers and the slippage and all that crazy stuff like that. Spreads just randomly, you know, on the go. So we'll see. I'm going to look into futures and take a look and see what it's looking like over there as well.
Do you have a lot of your students who are trying to get funded? A lot of guys who follow you who try to get funded?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've got a lot of people who are working on challenges. A lot of people who have been funded, been paid out as well. So, you know, it's really the people who've been working for a long time that I feel for, not you or not me, but the guys who have really been grinding away, and maybe they just finished phase 1 or phase 2 or about to get their first payout or something like that. Those are the people who I really feel for in that situation, man. Yeah.
I mean, between how much money we had with my Forex funds, like me and my coaches, was over $1 million bucks between all of us. Just doing payouts with like 5 guys that I know. I didn't have the payout due, but some of them did. And we're talking like 10 or 15 grand.
Yeah. Imagine that's just your circle, right?
That's just gone.
Yeah, just gone. So
yeah. So it's tough. I think that overall regulation will be good for the industry. Like it'll crank, you know, get rid of the crap and then let the cream rise.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it'll scare people at first, for sure. I think it's going to shake things up a little bit. But
definitely.
What's most important is that you have the skill, right? Like as long as you know how to trade, doesn't matter what firm, someone will hire you if you've got the track record, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the coolest part is once you've got the skill and you've put in the work, no one can take that from you. They can shut companies down. Like obviously, you know, we have a lot of people on the live streams and, you know, I remember like the week after that happened and everyone was running around like chickens
with their head cut off.
You know what I mean? Bro. And it's like, yo, there's really nothing we can do at this point.
What are you going to do?
So
right.
What can we do? Right. We can fund an account ourselves, or we can go and visit another one of these prop firms. It's one or the other. There is no crying in between. It's let's make a decision and let's continue on. You know, let's continue winning and doing what we do.
Yeah. Yep. That's
you can only control what you can control. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically the same boat that I'm in. I think the future of retail trading is probably very bright, even though the funding thing is going to be hairy. You know what I'm saying? For the next couple of years, it's going to be a little weird. I think there's going to be more retail traders in the future than there are now. It's always been that way. There's always been an increase in traders, you know? Yeah. And I think that'll open up good opportunity for guys like you and me, because now, like with your experience, I'm sure you have students like you have a guy, I believe, who you have coached that is now part of like one of your coaches, kind of like I have Tom and James, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. So we have a
So,
few coaches. Yep.
so now you have guys that you're bringing up through the funnel, like I was saying, like we
Yeah.
have done, that have come up
Yeah.
organically. I mean,
Hmm.
again, they're just going to be more guys that are going to help shortcut the learning curve for other traders who are new to the business, who are not doing well. For regardless of
Exactly.
a prop firm, regardless of anything else, the skill gets easier to attain, which is kind of crazy to think
A
about.
hundred
Because, like,
percent.
bro, when
It
you and me
really
got into
does.
trading, you found Raja. I found
Yeah.
nobody, bro. I was just following random videos. I had nobody. And now it's
Yeah.
like you can't even go on the internet without hearing about somebody who's a day trader, I feel like, even if you've never clicked on
Yeah.
day trading before,
Yeah.
right?
The algorithm just sends you your local day trader. Here you go. Look at him.
Literally, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think there's never been a greater opportunity for one to learn how to view the markets in a profitable way. Now, the problem with that becomes, where do you learn, right?
Right.
And
Because you can learn the
you
wrong
know,
information. There's definitely people out there that push the wrong information.
that, and there's just so much out there. It's information
It's
overload,
overwhelming. Yeah.
right? If one strategy just don't work, hey, go hop to the other one, right? But you and I know that those are failure trader traits, right? But they just can't seem to stop scrolling down the YouTube timeline.
They think that this is one of the things I've learned this year for sure. They think that an indicator is going to fix their problems. They think that a strategy is going to fix their problems when it's
Mm-hmm.
not that most of the time. You need that, but that is
No,
not going to fix the things within you that allow
right.
you to either succeed or fail as a trader. What's been the biggest thing that
100%.
you've had to work through on your own, since we didn't really talk about that? Like what's been
Mhm.
some of like the areas of your trading that you've struggled with and you have had
Yeah.
to work through it?
Yeah, good question. The biggest one for me was revenge trading. So early on, and you can throw over trading in that too, obviously. But early on, I felt, hey, if I woke up early, I did this stupid morning routine thing,
Time to
right? And
trade.
yeah, it's time to trade, right? So there was no way I was leaving the desk without putting a trade on that day, right? And so one thing with me was I would take a loss and probably be over risking, and my thing was I'm gonna get it back, and that never goes well. And I started to find that out, right? Usually it becomes a downward spiral from that point. And that's what Tyler told me when I came to him with these issues, at that time. And he really put me on. He said, you know what? You really just got to stop trading, right? If you take a loss and you're dealing with that, and that's something that ticks your emotion as an individual, when you take a loss, cut it out. Just done for the day, because it never ends well, right? Because I can take a loss and then get it back and then go, ooh, that was easy.
But you're
Maybe I can
reinforcing a
end the
bad
day in,
habit.
yeah, maybe I can end the day in profit. And then you take an even bigger loss, right? And if you weren't okay with the first loss, you damn sure ain't okay with the size of the second one.
Damn
So it
straight.
begins to get revenge. And that was one thing that I had to work through. And, I had blown a lot of money learning that lesson, but eventually got it, eventually got it. Didn't have to make that mistake anymore. And, one thing that Raja said when I was struggling with that too was, he's like, you want to change your trading this year? You want to change everything? 1 to 2 trades a day, max. Call it a day. And I was like, okay, I could stick to something like that.
Yeah.
So I just started 1 to 2 trades a day, 1 to 2 trades a day, got into the habit of that. And, today we take 1, maybe 2 trades a day.
I do one trade. If I win, I stop. If I lose, I'll be willing to take a second trade. That's the rules I have
Mm-hmm.
right now. Yeah.
Nice.
I think
Nice.
I would go off of what Raja said. I've been telling people, imagine like if I could go back in time for so many traders, including myself, if you could just look like what would be the ideal 1 year, first year of trading? Well, if you just did this one trade a day rule, and if you lose the
Mm-hmm.
first trade, you only take one more trade. So you have 2 trades a day max, and you take 1 hour profits and you win it 60%, even maybe 70% of the time, you will have
Yeah.
an amazing first year. You will be
Yeah,
profitable. You will be a
for
part of the
sure.
top 0.1%, if not even smaller. So I think people have to zoom out too. It's like, yes, take
Yeah.
less trades and see what they do for you over the longer period of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, you got to be long term, right? You got to think long term. That's the other thing for me. I started thinking long term instead of thinking about,
Having
flipping
a
this
kid helps,
account
right?
or yes, having a kid helped. I mean, that was really a major defining moment because, there was really two things that went into the level up in my maturity. I think I would use that word, maturity, right? I started to get mature in the markets because number one, I had empty promises that I've been making to my wife for years, right? That I needed to fulfill as a man. also my wife was pregnant with our first daughter, so this started to become bigger than me. And I had some money saved up and some hustles going, and I thought, hey, if I don't clean my act up here, I'm gonna blow all this money. This is my window. This is my window of opportunity here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It was one day I flipped the switch and said I'm not gonna make those mistakes anymore, and just got disciplined, bro. Like extremely disciplined. It was either there or it wasn't. There was no guessing. There was no maybe. It
So are you
was either
doing
a,
something now consistently to remind yourself to stay disciplined? Like, do you look at your
yeah.
daughter every morning before you start trading? Like, this is for you.
Yeah, yeah. I used to do that, and I used to still blow accounts. I'm like, no, it's my family. But nah, man.
See what you made me do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm just in such flow state at this point now that I know what I have to do. I know what needs to be done. I know that, there's a fine line in trading from being a professional and being a gambler. And you don't want to cross that line. And I've got a playbook that works, right? I told you we have like a 78. We average around 80% win rate over the last 2 years with this specific playbook. So it's either my playbook or not. You know what I mean? It's no guessing. It's either there. It's either obviously there or it obviously isn't. So at this point, I never have a problem with holding off and waiting for the highest quality, highest probability trade setup I could find.
I think for the traders who are listening to this far to the end of our conversation today, we appreciate you, but also just take like what Nick is saying and peel it back. Doesn't matter what strategy you're trading, me, ASFX strategies, his,
Nope.
you need the playbook. You need to know
Yes.
what is your strategy? What is your edge? What does that repeatable process look like off the chart to set yourself up for success, and on the chart? It's both. The playbook is the pre-trading routine, but it's also what does the setup look like and what variables come together to make that setup be your setup,
Dude, I 100% agree on that because, my mentor used to say, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Oh, bro,
So
that's
if
my
you're,
quote, bro. That's in my
oh, I
ebook.
love
That's
that.
like my
I love
favorite
that.
quote of life, bro.
Yeah, dude. And it's so true. And I always say it all the time. Like if you we joke about it on the live stream. It's like if you're that guy that, spills a little bit of milk on the counter and you don't wipe it up, you're not disciplined to your playbook. Or if you're the guy who throws your hoodie on the floor instead of just simply hanging it up real quick, you're not a disciplined trader. And I can tell very quickly just by what someone says, what they do off the charts, what their results are looking like on the charts.
Spot on.
It's no surprise, bro. No
Bro, people,
surprise.
I think like for anything, you know how everybody be like posting their gym pic of like them working out. Those are the people who like, if I like, I'm in there pretty regularly. I think people see that I'm in there regularly and tie it into a correlation of like, if he's showing the discipline in his gym, he can show discipline on his trading. But if I'm in the gym like once a week, every other week, like you said, if I, again, there's a million analogies. When I was younger, bro, my soccer coach, I was running in to go get subbed in. So I'm running to the 50-yard line and I take my water cup, and it was like a little paper one you just crinkle up and throw away. And I threw it at the trash can and I missed, and I just kept running. And I was like 14, 13 at the time, maybe 12, something like that. My coach ripped me a new one. He was like, Silver. And he explained to me, he's like, you're going to tell me you're going to go out there and play a great game, but you can't even throw the cup away properly and pick it up when you missed. Come on.
So true.
And it's, so bro, it stuck with, I'm 28 and it still is like right in my face was him yelling at me, and it stuck with me. And that's why, like, not that this is a trading related thing, but sports like have taught me so much, I think, about discipline and accountability for your actions. You know what I mean? When you lose a game in sports, what are you going to do, bro? Blame who? Your mother? No, it's you. You didn't practice. You didn't show up. You didn't work hard enough. Same thing in trading. Same thing.
Same thing. Success principles apply they're the same.
Everything.
No matter what you're applying them to, the success principles never change.
And that's why I think people who are successful in one area of life can come into trading and be successful quicker than someone who has never tasted success before, someone who has never had to put in hard work, eat some losses, take some determination. Like when I hear a guy, I got a guy right now who I'm coaching who's like an ex-drug addict. He's got a bunch of other characteristics that some people would look at and say, like, he cannot be a trader. This guy hustles. This guy overcomes things. This guy has a work ethic that most people can't even compare to. I can take that guy and I can help him trade 100%.
Yes,
but it's the other guys who are not willing to put in the work, who don't have those characteristics that successful people have. They're never going to make it in this business, but they think that they can, right? Because it's so easy. It's just sitting here and clicking buttons all day, right?
Yeah. No, that's so true, man. The guys who I love to work with, are the guys who have already created some sort of success in their life. They don't have to be gazillionaires.
Billionaires, right?
Yeah, no, but hey, I played D1 football. I played
Yes.
D1
I was
this,
in the
right?
military.
Yeah, military D1. If that's you, I want to work with you because I know
You hear that,
you're
everybody?
going to
Nick
be a
doesn't want
great
you if you're
mentee.
D3.
Yeah.
D3 athletes, walk away.
You're D3. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that those people are going to pay attention because they understand the laws that govern success, no matter what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Last question, Nick. We could keep going, I know,
Yeah.
forever, bro, but we have to put a pin in it for part 2.
Yeah.
What would be one quick piece of advice that you would give to your younger self if you had to go back to when you first started trading? What would you say?
I would say just take your time with it. Don't rush, right? Let these things come naturally. Success is always comes best when it comes naturally, right? Understand that there is a sowing and a reaping process to anything you're going to do in life, right? And be willing to stay down until you come up, right? Take your time, learn a playbook. That's a big thing with trading. Make sure you understand how a playbook works and wait for the best quality setups you can find. Don't touch anything outside of it. If you lose a trade, don't worry. You can get it back the next day. That's what I would tell myself, man.
It's great advice. Not easy to follow all the time, especially as a new trader, but
Yeah.
it is
Easier
great
said than
advice.
done. Yeah. As a new
Which is a
trader,
lot
it's a
of
bit
things in trading.
difficult. Yeah.
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 All right, Nick, it's been great, bro. Tell everybody where they can
Definitely.
connect with you. Where's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, you guys can find us on YouTube. So Time to Eat Trading. We live stream every single morning. So come on down. Let us know that you came from the ASFX podcast. Say hello. And any questions that you have, you guys are more than welcome to ask.
I
We're there
recommend it,
for.
everybody. Get in there. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of viewers. He's getting 8,000 viewers a day, I think, something like that right now. So a lot of value in there.
Yeah, the stream is growing. A lot of people impacted, a lot of people passing their funded challenges. And that's the coolest part about it, is to, really see the language, right? The same language being talked throughout within the community, everybody learning, everybody growing. It's just an incredible community. So yeah, tune into the live streams Monday through Friday. We trade the New York session, and then you can follow me on Instagram. It's ITS, so it's Nick Stewart with an underscore at the end, and that's about it.
I appreciate you, bro. I know the audience
Yeah.
appreciates you as well. So everybody check the links. Everything will be down in the description. Nick, thank you, bro. Until next time,
Sir.
We'll pause it here. And for all our listeners, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our future episodes, and for when we bring Nick back on, maybe in 2024. But for today, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Later.